Hello and welcome to my little tutorial on how to do masculine makeup or how I do it for photo shoots or for video shoots at home. Today's example is Sylus from Love and Deepspace.
Before I start with any makeup, I always try and find a lot of very good reference pictures. I love referencing the original source work, but I also love going for reference for different fan arts and pieces that different artists did, because maybe one of them looks closer to my actual face that might be a good reference to go of makeup wise. Which reminds me, recently while looking for reference pictures, I found DrawMarket, which had me immediately intrigued because I do love art, as you guys can see. It's a 100% AI-free site, which is a really big thing to me and dear to heart, which is really excited about. I also want to recommend the site to you guys. So, and of course, as we do a little masculine makeup turning into Sylus today, I had to commission a Sylus piece, especially with the new banners coming up and everything. I'm deep in that brain rot currently, you guys have no idea. Which is something you can actually do yourself. So I typed in love in the search bar to find specifically artists who can do cool love and Deepspace art. And I found one that I liked, like a little profile picture thing. So I was like, why not? I do look kind of fabulous. So the communication in general is super easy. Like, you find the artists that you like and you scroll down, go to commission page, and now the interesting thing is you can decide if it's for commercial use, if you want to do a complete buyout, or if it's just for you, maybe a little birthday present for friends or anything. And then you just type in, what you want. I just typed in, hey, could you draw? I love your style. Would you mind drawing me as the character? After that, you can go and set a deadline, and then the artist will respond if they can do it in the deadline or if they need more time, yes or no. For me, the artist said, yes, absolutely, I can give you the art piece in the deadline. And they were like, hey, let me know if you're happy, if any adjustments. I had seriously no adjustments. I really enjoyed how the Sylus art turned out, especially because it is a reference to my picture. I maybe even hang both of them next. No, that's too egotistical. I cannot hang both of them next to each other. But I will definitely hang it up, and I'm really excited about it. The other really cool thing that DrawMarket has is you can actually go on purchases where you see what you have purchased. As you can see, I've purchased some stuff in the past already. I've always had very good experiences. If you want to check out and find your own artists, or specifically want Love and Deepspace artists, there's over 300,000 illustrators on there. You can safely commission artists with escrow. They already have thousands of successful commissions a month. Feel free to search the word love in the DrawMarket and you will find a lot of artists. There are so many styles, it is incredible. Of course, you can now go and get an art piece of your favorite love interest and put them on the wall. And it's actually yours because it's commissioned for you. It's for personal use. Nobody else has that art piece. So it's just for you. Nobody else has it. And I think that's a little nice thing to do as well. Go check DrawMarket out. It is linked in the description underneath there. So have fun and happy shopping. If you want to know how to get this chiseled jawline, like a straight line says drawing, continue watching.
We're starting very simple with just concealer. I conceal the spots I have and I get rid of my dark circle under eyes a little bit. I do use my fingers. I think it blends the best by far, and I also put a little bit over my eyelids to have a good base. We start with foundation. I put some on my hand and massage it well into the brush, and then I just apply it with that brush over my face. After that, I use a liquid contour stick or a cream contour to accentuate the areas where I want more shadow, which is like the jawline or right over my upper lip, to make this little dip a bit more dark. Of course, the eye sockets, because male eyes tend to sit a little bit deeper, so that's very good. And then of course on the forehead a little bit, not too much. You can see it's uneven because one part is covered by the wig, so I will not put there a lot of makeup. If the lines are lining, you can start blending. You will see in general in today's tutorial how important blending is. It does 99% of the job, because I'm not good in makeup applying, but I'm good in blending. We continue with powder contour and these three brushes. I start contouring my nose a little bit. I don't really have a good technique when it goes there. I just draw down the line and make it look a bit straight, because my nose is not fully straight. So I just give you guys the illusion that it is. I also accentuate a little cupid's bow again, and I put a little line right underneath my lips to make the lips look more masculine, more like deeper set. And then of course I go ahead and blend everything. That is pretty much all I do for the face. I always do the eyebrows quite early because it just helps me to find the look a bit better. And yeah, we're gonna use a darker gray. Alright, so I always start with the tip because I do have an eyebrow set on both sides, so it helps me just to regulate everything. Then the top line and the bottom line, and then I just fill them in. Make sure to have an angled brush for that. And of course you can always clean it up with some concealer if you had a little mishap like I did right here. the eyes. We're gonna go in again with the darker contouring color and accentuate right underneath where the brow starts, and we just pull that shading down the nose a little bit underneath the eye. It gives it a bit of an arcane look, but it is on purpose. I just found for myself it's the easiest way to shade it. I just go over it with some concealer to kind of like blend it in and have it lay more where I want it to. We go in with a darker brown shade under the eye and slightly above, and then we just blend. You can tell it is very smudgy, and that is completely fine because you can do everything with the blending. Oh, look at how wonderful that works. And then we continue, of course, on top, also with a brown shade. This time a slightly lighter brown shade, and I open my eyes a lot of times to get a little curve in a bit better. And then we go again in underneath there with a bit more darker brown. And we start blending again. Okay, you see the theme, right? You also go in with a lighter brown to just now blend everything nice into the skin a bit better. It is also a bit of a highlight because we don't want just completely dark brown eyes that looks too feminine, so we want to do that. Afterwards I use some cream foundation on a small brush to give me the highlights where I want them. I found out for me cream foundation works the best. It just blends really nicely. As for the little aegosal we draw in, I do it with a brown eyeliner. I found for myself that works the best, and it looks quite harsh. And the little trick I do is I go in with the cream foundation again, and then I just use my finger afterwards to blend it upwards, and it works really well. It's a technique that just works for me, and I notice it looks really cool on photos, so that's what I do. As for the lips, those are very important as well. I go in with a slightly reddish brownish eyeshadow at first, and then use a bit of cream red lipstick on my hand with a brush to darken the insides. Just make sure it's nicely blended and you don't put too much, because otherwise you have red lips, which is not what we want for today. And I end up the entire thing with a very dark red lipstick just in the corner in the middle, just to give my lips a little pop. And then to round the entire thing up, we add a little bit more of the liquid, a little bit more of the cream contour above and underneath the lip, specifically around the cupid's bow. This will kind of accentuate the entire lip area just very nicely. It gives kind of like this little bit of video game vibe that we are going for. As you can see, I blend most of the times with my fingers. It's just the easiest for me. Before we end the entire thing, I have a little trick on how I check my contour if it's nice and smooth. I literally go back and just blend it in again because I don't see underneath, sadly, so that's what I do. Time for contacts. I always do my eyeliner after contacts because it's not waterproof, so if I draw it on before, I will just try it off. And I just do a little bit in the middle and a little bit on the corners, and that's it. There's not a lot of trick to it, and voila, you have a Sylus cosplay. Thanks for watching.